and how can you help with that too? That's fine.
I think we can develop the product anywhere.
And I love it like NASIO or National Nuclear is at our offices. I like we can certainly send it to them. And then we don't have a good relationship. You're not you on the alliance. I like it. Or you might on your own.
We can look at both. You're a member of the
Okay, right.
I don't know how they work on this.
So it's a matter of, I want it, of course, it's done. I don't want to just talk about get it passed, potentially. I want it done. Like, we must do it. Okay, so.
You think it's good?
Yeah, we have our photographer here. Unless you want to just do it with our camera, we can do it right now with the camera. And it doesn't matter. Moderation's not in vogue. No, looking at the breakfast this morning. I did not know. That is hilarious. Okay, nice to meet you. We can go ahead and get started. Oh, thank you for letting me. Oh, yeah. And then I didn't know you were National Grid, so today I saw the other woman who's with you. Yeah. Together, with a really nice black woman. Right. So I texted the phone. And I was like, hey, Sandy, wonderful. So nice. I had a hotel room. And they they're live now, like are they watching them? Yeah, these are really cool. Yeah, they are really cool. I love these. My kids are okay. Have a good hour-long discussion. And we finish fine. Really? Are you sure? Okay. Thank you. They're so cool.
Okay, but I may take it away from you.
Oh, you didn't know. I'll allow you to share and while we're waiting.
No.
But these are kind of the general solutions they go from add something on circular economy. But they're really good starts generally, right? You know, like yesterday, communication, data, tools, this one,
the water bottle. I gave that back.
I'll move this one up.
But I was like, oh, where's the phone?
Totally on me.
That one definitely was, but
I know it's like really the water.
I was vacationing in Egypt.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, the tour guide told me that. Don't buy any of this stuff there. It's for the Chinese first. They can take it.
Yep.
Hi,
Rama.
Hi, Rama. Hi, John Moody.
I didn't know that. Thank you, John. Aren't those cool? Yeah, they're fun. Yeah. I'm going to use it. I like a pen and a pen. Yeah. Okay, so we have one speaker online hooked up. We are waiting for, there's a minister that's supposed to make opening comments. We'll go ahead and get started, and whenever they arrive at the right time, we'll fit them in. Sounds good. So we have a good amount of time, so don't rush. Okay. And if you want to jump in on something, jump in. So. And if it seems too obvious, when you talk, you just hold the button. Right, exactly. You have to hold. And now you push it once, or you hold it down. You just push it once. Okay, that is on. Right. So on.
Like we were in touch on email after I spoke with Clement Art to stop 26.
That's exactly. I was like, so Emily did that. I was like, I'm lifting my chair too.
Yeah.
I can pretend I'm tall. No one can see my legs. I have like one meeting here with the Japanese delegation that I want to go to. It's pretty late. We got to pack. We have a late flight too, right? 9. Should leave the airport at 7 p.m. I'm going to the airport right after this. No, this could be our speaker. Wait a minute for my settle.
Well, it's funny because you
take my bags off. Yeah, look at that. I love your outfit. I love the color. Thank you. With a little pink going, but it's not enough. My grandmother passed away. I inherited these scarves. I'm like, I should wear scarves. All these are not. I told you. What was the movie again? I can just wear t-shirts. I had to look up the name of the movie. That's funny. Okay. So, we have one meeting here with the Japanese delegation that I want to go to. It's pretty late. We got to pack. We Oh, okay.
And it worked. And I offered to see we're all old school with the pen. It's so funny. I was like, I'm memorizing everything, and then every single talk I went through, people brought notes, and I was like, you know what? I love to have notes.
It's okay. Nobody knows.
Like, I still obviously know what I'm going to say.
Someone want to let him know, so he's not surprised.
It's just a little.
I'll email them.
So he doesn't want to say anything right now. He comes up here next to me, and I introduce him. I don't know. Yeah.
That's another form on it.
A big audience?
Right.
But it's recorded, I hope.
I'm going to take yours.
You know it's recorded?
It is recorded and it's streaming.
The Bessie,
Of course, he's going to give me the Spanish. Oh, here we go.
That's a very good question.
Garrett Candlon.
He's been online for a while waiting. And these look like Wi-Fi routers, not...
Program.
That's a very good question. I can say anything. So,
just popped up.
Because I think it makes sense.
The plan B didn't work, the plan C didn't work, so I guess
This is plan C, I think, right?
yes, it will be recorded. Yes.
Where's the camera then?
Okay, we're not on. I don't think we're on yet. Okay, so introduce the event, and then I'm just going to invite.
I don't see a camera, but
Or if you
it can be very small, of course.
Exactly.
Dominican Republic and Fundación Popular. Yeah.
Maybe one of these is a kid, like, they all look the same though.
And how do you pronounce your last name?
One of these?
On the wall.
Are you on the speaker?
Yeah, I think so.
That's kept in the audience.
Oh my, along with another colleague. Okay, great, we got it.
We got plenty of time, right?
Maybe that turns.
For us,
I think it can turn.
Oh, maybe you
started everybody.
and the voice comes from here and that.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is
Maybe.
Jacobson. I'm president of the Business Council for Sustainable Energy, and it is my pleasure to have all of you here today and all of our viewers online for our conversation on integrating across sectors, business leaders in energy, buildings, and the circular economy. This event is being put together by the Business Council for Sustainable Energy, the Alliance to Save Energy, the Plant-Based Products Council, and Fundación Popular. And to get started, we're going to have a special guest join us today who is the Dominican Republic and Fundación Popular. I would love to introduce Pierre Condolone, and he currently serves as the Climate Change and Green Recovery Program Specialist at the United Nations Development Program. Pierre, wonderful to have you here today. I'd love to hear a little bit about the work that you do at UNDP and how you're working with one of our conveners of this important side event today.
Thank you very much, Lisa. So just to clarify, I'm representing Vice Minister, so this is a hard challenge for me. So I work at UNDP, and we work really closely with the Dominican Republic government, who is going to be represented today by our speaker on video, that directly is working with the private sector. But as I'm stepping in for the Vice Minister for Climate Change for the Dominican Republic, I think she wanted to give a bit more elements on general work between the public, the private sector, and the international organizations. As you know, as you may know, for UN organizations, working with the private sector is a key element to advance in the implementation of NDCs. The main initiative of UNDP for the implementation of NDCs is called the Climate Promise. And this framework we have been able to, including the Vice Minister, on a series of issues, and including working with the private sector on a series of tools that our guest is going to present later on, but that we include and try to bring everyone aboard from the private sector. The informal sector, the private sector of the Dominican Republic is mainly constituted of really small companies, and the informal sector is really strong. So it's been a challenge, but I think also something good for to really try to build tools that can fit to the smallest companies, that can to what we call until the colmado, which are small bars that we call in Santo Domingo, and that's where all the populations gather. Until the small bars, the small colmados, the small enterprises, to really try to understand what's the transition and how they can, with their work, already contribute to making targets for the Dominican Republic and be more resilient, also facing the effects of climate change. So I won't say much now because our guests will speak this better than me, but it's a pleasure for UNDP to be here with the private sector. Happy to connect also further. Because it's part of our mandate. We first work with the governments, but having civil society and the private sector on board is really how we get to be public school facilitators in the countries we work with. And happy to be here, happy to hear from the panelists, and thank you all.
Thank you, Pierre. And the Business Council for Sustainable Energy has a small and medium-sized division called the Clean Energy Business Network. So we understand the opportunities and the challenges that small and medium-sized businesses have in both, growing the clean energy economy and also participating in a lot of the climate change management programs and disclosure programs that are out there. And just to say, it's really wonderful to hear you say about UNDP's interest and commitment to working with the private sector, because a major theme of this event is public-private partnerships. Feel free at any time to hop into the conversation. But before you go, from your program's perspective, what are you looking to accomplish here at the top?
This is a very good question. As UNDP, we are observers, so we are here to understand the positions and to facilitate conversations between society, governments, and other allies. I think this is the priority for us. In my head, it's a bit more personal because UNDP sometimes lends stuff to the delegations to support them and give technical support on some specific items. And in my case, specifically I'm working on Boston Dynamics, which is I think one of the critical issues here at home. So having both benefited from this UNDP perspective and this government perspective, I think that the problem from funding and implementation, I think it's more true than ever. And as we come closer to the end of the second week, we see that a lot of actors, including countries, are not yet ready to step in terms of providing technical and financial assistance, both on mitigation and on adaptation. So I think one of my main messages here is to really understand that costs are not useful if we keep on. And at some point, these are highly technical discussions, of course, but of course, at some point there should be a political decision to make this cost one of the last such a big cost. And we need to be able to find ways to compromise, including on financial support, so that countries don't have to come desperately again, knocking at the door, of course, and that we can all move on the road to implementation at the national level and not need big events that gather for, but that are also repetitions in a ways that of same things. Sometimes I understand society when they say blah blah blah, not because there are some huge discussions going on here and some huge progress is being done. But at some point we have to understand that cost shouldn't be a technical process and we should just focus on implementation with support of countries in the principle of common but differentiated competencies. A general message is always useful and genuinely productive.
Thank you. It was very useful. A great way to kick us off. So the next part of our program is going to be a discussion with several panelists. I'm going to introduce them. I'm really happy that they're here. Thanks for being here in Egypt and for joining this conversation. So first, to my immediate right is Emily Duncan, Vice President of Government Relations and Head of the Washington, D.C. Office for National Grid. She's also serving as the Chair of the Business Council for Sustainable Energy. And to her right is John Bodie, Board Member and a Chief Product Council. And directly to his right, we have Rama Naivich, Global Impact Partner Lead at Autodesk. And at the end of our line here, we have Carrie Rahar, Head of Global Public and Government Affairs at Signify. And joining us virtually, so happy to have you. We have Elias Denze, General Manager of Fundación Popular. Can you hear us okay?
We are fine. Thank you so much. We are here.
And we're going to, of course, turn to you to answer some of the questions, but if there's something that you want to speak about, please either just chime in or raise your hand on the virtual function, and we'll be watching. And again, so happy to have you. You're enhancing our conversation.
Our pleasure.
Terrific. Why don't we start with you? We're going to give everybody an opportunity to take a few minutes and introduce themselves, talk about their organization or company, and how that fits into sustainability and your objectives. So, please, why don't you kick us off?
Okay, well, thank you so much for your kind introduction. My name is Elias Denze. I'm the General Manager of Fundación Popular. Fundación Popular I would like to say that Fundación Popular is a foundation that is led by the Grupo Popular, which is one of the first biggest financial group in the Dominican Republic, and we care a lot about the sustainability and, of course, the environment.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, Emily, why don't you start us off? We'll go down the line. Everyone, please talk a little bit more about yourself, your role in your organization, and your sustainability objectives.
Great. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here. The National Grid is for the UK and the US companies. In the UK, we own the electric transmission system, and we also own part of the electric distribution system. Over here in the US, our primary businesses are regulated business in Massachusetts and New York, where we have transmission and distribution on the electric side and distribution on the gas side. We serve about 7 million customers here in the US. About half of those, 3.5 million are gas, and the other half are electric customers. We employ about 17,000 people, and 2/3 of those are labor employees. So we have a strong labor component to our workforce, which we're really proud of. And our workers live and work in the communities we serve, and our communities and our customers are our primary concern throughout our policy and our sustainability initiatives. So I think I'll talk a little bit about how we approach sustainability in the various sectors that we look at when we think about sustainability. And I mentioned for the most part we don't look generation. We're not a vertically integrated utility. We're in a regulated market. So again, we focus on transmission and distribution. We do have a small portion of regulated generation that we own in our state, and then we also own an unregulated subsidiary, National Grid Ventures. National Grid Ventures in the UK is very focused on building interconnectors between the United Kingdom and the EU to connect renewables from Norway and other parts of the continent. Here in the US, National Grid Ventures owns Geronimo Energy, which now goes by National Grid Renewables. And so we focus primarily on onshore wind, but also solar in the Midwest, and about 8 or so states in the Midwest. We also recently purchased, along with our partner, ROE JV, we are the first, have the largest lease parcel in the New York Bight, offshore wind options since the first New York ago. So we're incredibly proud of that, and breaking into that offshore wind market. We also are signed up to purchase over a gigawatt of, actually more than that. I'm looking at my notes here. I think it's 1.6 gigawatts of offshore wind in Massachusetts. So we're expecting significant offshore wind in team, so very excited about that. In addition, we've been very bullish in electric transportation. We currently have about 4,000 charging stations that we have put in place. Roughly half of those are in low-income or economically disadvantaged communities. We really feel strongly in bringing everyone along on this clean energy transition and bringing power and resources to the people who need them most so that everyone can benefit from the transition. And that's a real focus for our electric transportation effort. We have now also looked to file for in Massachusetts for about 30,000 chargers and then also in New York for 6,000 charging stations. So a lot more work to come in that space. I think the last thing I'll talk about is our leak-prone type initiative. As I mentioned, we do have a significant amount of gas distribution network in the 2 states we operate in. We're one of the early signatories to the EPA methane challenge in reducing methane emissions and leak-prone pipe. And so every year we replace hundreds of miles of leak-prone pipe in our service territory to try to reduce methane emissions. There's lots more I could talk about. I look forward to getting into it panel.
Thank you. Terrific. John.
Thanks. So I'm John Roby. I'm on the board of Plant-Based Products Council, and I'm also the president and CEO of Corn Refiners Association. I'd like to explain that. But first, I'd like to say how much.
Hold on one second.
First, I'd like to say.
Okay, don't worry. Hold on one second. Yeah, mine too. So we'll just hold 1 second, let them fix it. Okay, Don, try again. There's time to start.
How much I appreciate the persistent and gracious leadership that and DTSE brings. That is a real tribute service that provide. Thank you so much. So, why the Corn Refiners Association? Why are they on the board of Plant-Based Products? It's because the corn refining industry, not counting ethanol, purchases and processes between 10 and 15% of America's corn crop each year. It is an industry of chemical engineering, and it is the products that it makes so far beyond food. It's food, pharmaceutical, medical devices, and increasingly industrial. So, what we have identified is that there is a tremendous positive environmental role that these products play, in that by building a policy environment that's more receptive to their development, we can advance that industry section and in the environmental benefit that provides. And of course, nothing would be done in policy terms that's significantly more. So we took a significant part of our budget and used it as seed money to start the Plant-Based Products Council so that industry with various industries come together, work together for more responsible policies to advance this industry. And the industry I'm talking about are products that are not fuels, not food, but just about everything else you can imagine. So everybody on the panel has corn today. The plastic is made from corn, the ink is made from soy, and the benefits are global.
Terrific. Rama, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Rama and I'm the Global Impact Partnership Lead at Autodesk. We're together. We're thrilled to be here, and I think we're one of those unsung heroes in the world where people may not know who Autodesk is. We are a software company, and we're one company. We have 150 products and platforms, millions of customers that affect billions of places, products, and experience. So whether you've driven a extreme vehicle, or you're in a building, or you're watching a movie that has visual effects, there's a very good chance that our customers played a role in creating that environment. And so our responsibility as a technology company and our opportunity as a technology company is to really think about our place in the world and our ability to influence the way things are designed and made so that we can help build a more sustainable, ethical, and resilient world. And there's not that many companies that have that level of reach across industries to have that impact. And so we really see that as we see our role in that. As a company, when we think about, when we're talking about how we see our own sustainability, we see it in three different ways. So we think about our own operations. So, for instance, others have been running on all our facilities around the world have been running on renewable. Excuse me, there's a fly in front of my face. Have been running on renewable energy since 2016. Our scope 1 and scope 2 emissions, I must be putting off nitrogen or something, have been verified. We're going to be down 50% by 2030 in scope 1 and scope 2, and down 35% in scope 3 by 2030, and that's all along the lines of sticking within the 1.5 goal. Obviously, 1.5 is our end goal that we hope we don't reach there. So when we think about improving our operations and then working with our customers. And working with our customers means providing the insights, the data, the automation so that they are able to make, to optimize their own impact decisions in whatever it is that they're creating. 80% in manufacturing in particular, 80% of the impact of a product is decided in the design phase. And if we can help our customers be more thoughtful, be more informed, use data to make their impact decisions, we can have tremendous influence on how things are made in the world. And then we work also in industry, advancing industry, so we have public advocacy and public-private partnerships and really working to try and make a difference in the way things are done. So that's a little bit about who Autodesk is and our place in the world.
So, Harry.
Last month, so I'm Harry Barnard. I'm responsible for building consumer affairs at Signify. We are the world leader in lighting, and our main brand is Philips. So then I think then you know better who we are. Our work is mainly focusing for parts on the whole width of the challenges we face on climate change. Together with you from the BCSE, but also together with the Climate Group, Corporate Leaders Group, Belgian Building Council, and a few others. But then particularly to zoom in on energy efficiency. Because that makes, it can make a big contribution to mitigation. And actually, over the years, maybe just to lift a small part of the veil, already good progress has been made in the past 16 years. Electricity consumption by lighting has reduced from 19% of global electricity to 13% last year. But of course, we know, and that is why we are here. We need to double the speed in every area to stay within livable boundaries of global warming.
Thank you. I mean, we have such a diverse sectors here. I'd love to hear a little bit more about what excites you most about the industry you're in, both from your organization and your sector perspective, what you think you can bring to the conversations here at the top. And to the extent, many of you have customers or members, how you help them on their journey. So, Emily, I'll start with you first.
Yeah, thanks so much, Lisa. So I think there's lots that excites me about where we are, right? I mean, I think every year we kind of feel like we're on the precipice of something great. But I really do feel like we're at this real turning point, right? We're all striving for this 1.5 degree mark, and we're very hopeful that we can get there. I mean, we're realistic about the challenges of getting there, but I think we are hopeful. And as I mentioned, we really want to bring all of our customers along on that journey. So I think what excites me is, we can help this path in the United States, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, and what a difference those are going to make for our customers and to really drive down the costs of these technologies, which I think is going to be absolutely key to their adoption. I worked in the solar industry before I was in National Grid, and we saw what a difference a consistent certain policies in the solar investment tax credit did to drive down the price of solar. And we expect the same thing with the Inflation Reduction Act, with various technologies that can benefit from incentives in there. Hydrogen is the one that comes to mind for us in National Grid. It's a real linchpin of our policy revision, which I can get to maybe a little later on in the panel. But we really see things like hydrogen, these nuclear kind of technologies, slightly more basic technologies that make no game changers in the industry. So I'm very excited to see those kind of technologies come to fruition in the same way that solar and wind have, and to see kind of all the options on the table as we approach this. And that really excites me. I think the way we work with our customers to kind of bring them along, as I mentioned, is through a variety of ways, right? I can start with energy efficiency, which for us is kind of always the first thing we look to, because that's low-hanging fruit, it's emission-free energy efficiency, and so always looking for opportunities to bring energy efficiency to our customers. We provide free home energy audits for all of our customers, for all of our customers who own their homes and businesses. For those who rent, we also provide a renter's kit. So again, going back to kind of trying to meet customers where they are. We're also the second utility in the nation, number 2 in the nation for connecting or interconnecting distributed generation solar, which we're very excited about. So we do a significant amount of renewable interconnection and on the DG side, but also hopefully soon on the utility scale side in the Northeast. That's another way we're trying to bring clean and renewable energy to our customers. So maybe I'll leave it there and look forward to it in a minute about.
Well, I'm excited because this is my third company, and it's very interesting to see the progression since our first one was in 2008.
Right, I remember.
What I see is a broadening of recognition and a deepening of commitment. And the Plant-Based Products Council was created fundamentally to advance a circular economy. And of course, what we celebrate is the fact that less and less people are asking what's that. And we see real progress. I'm also excited because even without significant policy support for these plant-based products, even without significant policy support for these plant-based products in the U.S. today, according to the federal government, displays 9.4 million barrels of oil. And that is equivalent to 12.7 million metric tons of CO2, or equivalent to making 2.7 million cars on the road. That's a good start. When we get some policy to support it, we think it can really take off. Let me give you an example. I think there are many novel items right now in the marketplace. My friends in the organic food industry do a wonderful job. They use a lot of plastic. They use plastic not only in packaging, but they use plastic as mulch so that they don't have to use plastic. Plastic makes things almost like petrochemical plastics. I suspect that petrochemical plastics are not really advancing the organic trend, and as plant-based plastics better recognized as an alternative, there is wonderful opportunity for growth and the environmental benefits that will be achieved.
We're have a theme going. We're all supportive and excited by what our customers are doing. Really, again, because we're in so many different industries, from architecture, engineering, construction, to manufacturing and entertainment, the ability of our customers to truly decide how the world is going to be designed and made is fundamental to what they do. So whatever it is that they're making. So, as we're talking about energy, we have a customer, we also have an Object Foundation, right? And our foundation invests in startups, new technologies, to try and support them, to bring that up, to accelerate the pace of change in the way that things are designed and made. And we have a customer called Cowway, and they weighed in. They're studying wave energy. So they joined us at Autodesk. We have a workshop for them, and they worked on their project to see how to make it. They built a prototype, put it out off the coast of California, San Diego, and it was very successful. It was so successful it withstood, I think, 165-mile-an-hour wind. I should check it. I wrote it as wrong. I wouldn't do totally. I have it here somewhere. I'll put it in when I come up with the metric. Sorry about that being on there. But it was so successful that the Department of Energy invested $7.5 million in Poway and are running a project on the coast of Oregon. Because, of course, with wave energy, there's a bunch of different solutions there. They're saying it could help with as much as 20 to 30% of energy use if we can come to solutions. And one of the amazing things about wave energy, in this case, and the work that our customers do, is that when the sun's down or it's winter, there's one thing that you can count on, is that there will be wave. And so to really be a part of, in the technological innovation of a company like that, to see how they're succeeding, see how the Department of Energy is investing. They actually have 7 different companies off the coast of Oregon right now, and they're testing them in different situations to see how they work, because they're building the piping, right? If you have the wave energy on the water, then you bring it down underneath the ground, and the Department of Energy will be investment to that to bring it up onto the shore. So it's really exciting to be a part of those kind of innovations. We have other customers in Japan doing really interesting things for small-scale wind energy. Instead of having blades, right, they have round turbines, because you don't have that same kind of infrastructure that you need to have, because with windmills, we're just doing larger and larger and larger, and small island nations can't keep making it larger, and they can't build that foundation and infrastructure. So they've created this, since the Fukushima accident, people are starting to develop it, and we love to support companies like that who are innovating in those ways, thinking of new ways to solve problems, because as we were discussing right before, a lot of the answers are out there. We just have to work together to make them happen.
Yes, so what excites me, so I'll give you an example. I just spoke with my friend Pika, and he mentioned, he actually described it in the right way. He said what is boring about all those speeches in the plenary, those 3-minute speeches, is that people only speak about decarbonization and they see it as a problem. And then there's cost and there's fear, lack of insights on how to do this, and then delay. So that is absolutely the opposite. He said we should speak about the solutions, and if you see what the solutions can do, also in terms of people benefits, then it becomes exciting, because then you see that this is a business opportunity with the economy, the international economy, city, household, or a company economy, and also what they do. And I think in that respect, when you look at the lighting sector, I just mentioned 16 years ago, lighting was 90% of global electricity. They were the world leader in what we call conventional lighting, so bulbs and tubes, incandescent, halogen, and what you have. Today, 85% of the sales is LED. It's all digital, and we're again the world market leader. So in 2006, when we called for the global phase-out of incandescent light bulbs, so in December 2006 in Brussels, and in March 2007 in Washington, actually it was a bipartisan event. Then actually we called for the phase-out of our entire business. So we said our entire business needs to go. And Steve Jobs once said, if you don't cannibalize your own business, somebody else will. So in that sense, I think it's also exciting when you look at sector transitions, how relevant they are for planetary survival, but actually us on this planet, but also how relevant they are for company survival. And in that sense, these journeys are innovation journeys, and they should indeed, as the question goes, they should excite us. Despite all the doom and gloom and all the things that are scary, they should excite us, because indeed, the logic is in a nutshell, and those benefits are real. So let's talk more about the solutions, what they bring in the different aspects, and not so much about the problem.
Thank you all. I had an ask a question actually. So when you said what makes you excited, me? Oh, sorry, I wasn't sure who was speaking. Go ahead. Okay. When a company of your size says we're going to disrupt our own business model and completely transform, so if you say what makes me optimistic, that's the kind of thing that makes me optimistic. No, I agree. amazing experience. We all share things that are very exciting to me because we're on the cusp of new products, new services that really going to help us realize the circular economy, which I'm going to get to perhaps in my next question, since many of you mentioned it. But I would love to go to our guest joining us virtually. I'm not sure if he is able to hear us, so Elias, are you with us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay. So I'm sorry. I know it's not easy participating virtually in this environment, but we're really happy that you are. And so we were all talking about what's exciting for us in our industries and our organizations or companies. I'd love to hear from you and your perspective about what's exciting.
Okay, thank you so much, Lisa. Well, I have to say that today we are living in a complex world, and that's the most important thing, where the policy framework should bring together all relevant actors to contribute in improving any situation. In that sense, I think that the business platform that we have created, where Fundación Popular is part of it, including EcoRed, which is a national network of business support for environmental protection in the Dominican Republic, the UNDP program in the Dominican Republic as well, the National Council of Private Sector, and working with the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources and also the National Council for Climate Change. I think it's the best thing we could do in order to achieve the climate change in the Dominican Republic. In that sense, we have a strong business coalition platform for climate action. We support the definition of mitigation and adaptation actions along the private sector in the Dominican Republic. We also share good practices. We encourage indicator and reporting processes, and so they can, be voluntarily included in the country reports. So our customer here, I would like to say that the target population for us is our own private sector. So we are, encourage the private sector to go for the actions.
Thank you very much. So, the mic. Great. I want to talk a little bit about circular economy since several of you brought it up. And I know, and I agree, John, many more people are understanding what it is, but maybe for our viewers that might not, one of you could take the opportunity to just explain what the circular economy means, especially for your sector, and then let others hop in as well.
Sure. So, circular economy, and Web Enterprise Council is committed to advancing the circular economy. It is used for renewables that as they grow, they capture carbon, and the carbon that is then released time to time is part of the natural biogenic cycle instead of having stock carbon. So it is about continuing our commitment to environmental responsibility with those products. So it is to have sustainable agricultural production that uses these products, then manufacture it in responsible and sustainable ways, and focus on end of life. So we're very proud of the fact that many of these plant-based plastics, for example, are either recyclable or compostable. It is an absolute secondly that they have to be functionally equivalent. Many of them are chemically identical, even though it's a different feedstock. But it is that whole cycle from getting to end of product life that's important. And you see payoffs not only in addressing carbon emissions, but the challenges of waste, soil health, and water quality. And all of those matter a lot.
Thank you. Rama, you want to hop in?
Sure. I want to take the next one, definition of circular economy. I actually wanted to give another example. Matt Stein, the design architecture firm, is working at, they just started building the Rwanda Institute for Conservation Agriculture, and it is a perfect example of creating an ecosystem circular economy. So it's a school, and they have a farm on the school, and they're planting more trees that they're using in construction so that they're re-teaching the use of old school materials in order to create the buildings that the school is built in with breezeways so that they don't need heating and ventilation systems. So really thinking about the whole process, and they are using, even the tiles on the roof are made of terracotta that are made from the dung and the clays of the animals that are on the property. So creating this really, I don't like to use the word utopian per se, but the kind of this utopian community where the students are studying and learning the process of going from beginning to end, and thinking through the whole process of what does it mean to have a school there, what does it mean to learn new processes, how do you, because the flip side, I mean, you were saying this, right? The flip side is you cut the trees, you have soil erosion creates runoff, right? So let's flip that and figure out what positive inputs that we can have so that we can also have positive output. And then because I said I would, so 70 meters per second, which is 156 miles an hour.
Wow, that's amazing. Harry, do you want to talk about circular economy a little bit?
Yeah, a few things on circular economy. So one on the technology and how it enables actually new business models, and then second on how we design our products and portfolio. So LEDs are digital, and that's a big advantage because we know that actually not only in our sector but for many technologies it goes that energy efficiency offers a huge potential, but how can you add up all those many little bits? In our case, there are 30 billion light points, and how do you add them up? Well, if the technology becomes digital, then all the light points get an IP address, and we launched a software platform called Interact. I call it the Android of lighting, so that's easier to understand, and that actually gives automatically, so it creates dashboards for a city mayor or for a company. They see how the lighting operates, energy consumption, so there's an automatic guarantee, performance guarantee included, but it also allows you to design bigger projects. So then instead of a facility manager who is responsible for one floor in the building or one street or one suburban area in the city, you can talk to the city mayor or to the C-suite head, to the real estate manager, hoping that they centralize their real estate and energy management, and then look at, okay, what can you do at company scale or city scale? And then also makes bigger projects more easily financeable. And that is also why we moved to what we call service-based business models, like you lease your car, you don't have to own it, and we call it lighting as a service. So then it's actually in a way it's lighting for free. People don't have to pay in advance, have their budgets or have the renovation budget is often a hurdle of action. Then on the products, what is also relevant we see today, I think also one of the issues is that the lagging progress on climate action is that for many things we use, we wait till the end of the technical lifetime. Whereas we know that already a few years before the end of the technical lifetime, there is something superior that we just keep on using, let's say until your shoes fall off your feet, then you buy new ones. And this is not economically and environmentally not smart. So what are we doing? What have we done? So our products, we're making them modular so that they're upgradable, repairable. So imagine if in 5 years' time, efficiency is again 30% higher, you can take out the LED module, put a new in, or you can upgrade the software, and thereby always be close to or exactly on the latest state of the art. And then it's not only making them modular, but we're also moving to 3D printed products. So we now have 5 manufacturing facilities across the world that make 3D printed products, which cuts actually a lot of stock in the supply chain, because we have a configurator with which people online can design their products. You can order them overnight, and then they can be shipped to them locally. And what is really exciting there, so then actually the plastics are 10 times recyclable, but what is exciting last month, we also launched a product range called Coral Breeze, so actually very applicable to the area that we're, but it's made of discarded fish nets. So 10 to 45, so it's a broad range, is the estimation that fish nets and ropes and lines contribute to plastics in the oceans. So for parks, have you started to use this part of fish nets and ropes and lines to make those lighting fixtures? So 3D printed, so actually also then reducing a little bit, because there's a lot of plastic out there, a little bit this issue. But then again, modular. So the plastic can be recycled and used over and over again. Also, actually, you see that the retailers and supermarkets, they actually would like sometimes to redo their shop design. So they can also do that without a heavy mind, because they can just return the plastics to us, to our manufacturing sites, and it can be used again. So it's the technology enabling business models, and it's the products that you make modular, upgradable, repairable, but also separable, so that you don't have a mix of materials, which can also be a nightmare.
Thank you all. Elias, do you have any comments from your side?
Yes, of course. We think that in order to reinforce the circular economy, we think that we should work on the transparency system. That's why we have recently launched the first digital platform for business to report emission voluntarily in the Dominican Republic, using the strong work experience of UNDP that brought us from the region. This platform includes the monitoring, tracking, and verification system, so all elements of transparency that will later be merged from the private sector are in this platform. I think that using this system, we can also improve and reinforce the circular economy in the Dominican Republic.
Thank you very much. Sorry, we're going to wait the microphone. Thank you very much. We want to talk a little bit about communication. Obviously, in the halls of the COP doing this event, we're here to talk to stakeholders, government, our peers in the industry about all these innovations that we've been hearing about on the panel. So maybe I could ask a few of you to talk about communication. How do you do that with your customers? How do you do that here at the COP? And then Rama, for you in particular, I really would love to hear about the tools that are needed to better report and communicate climate action and investment. So, Emily, do you want to start first and we'll go down? Thank you.
Sure. I think this is a real challenge, if I'm honest. Breaking through the noise, both, with government officials here at the COP, quite literally sometimes, and then also with our customers, right? We have a lot of our customers still don't realize that they qualify for low-income heating programs, or that they can get a free home energy audit, or that they, the tax credits are available, both not only at the federal level, but also in our states, right? We have significant tax credits and energy efficiency that are on offer for our customers. And a lot of our customers just still do not know about them. And so going back and kind of meeting our customers where they are, we do on a regular basis in-person customer events. We go to senior centers, we go to town halls, seeing our customers where they are, trying to, we often do events from 4 to 7 p.m. Why? Because then you can catch people in between shifts, right? People work 12-hour shifts and they go to a certain time, and then before the next shift starts, we try to grab them. And so I think we're having to constantly adapt how we reach our customers. Spanish language commercials and events are really key now in the areas that we serve. And so I think, we're constantly having to adapt how we communicate with our customers. I think communicating with our government stakeholders has had to evolve as well, right? There's lots of stuff going on in the space, lots of people trying to kind of fight for their piece of the pie and their voice, to get their voice heard in the halls of Congress and in state halls. And so that's a constant battle too, is how do we make sure that our governments are hearing from us on a regular basis as we represent our customers and their needs. So I think for us, I don't want to say it's a battle, but it is in some ways a constant battle to make sure that we are getting through the noise and cutting through the noise. But coming to the top is a great way to do that, right? I mean, we've had a fantastic U.S. delegation here from the congressional level, but also from the administration as well. And so getting to see them on the side of the the water, if you will, has been hugely helpful because I think they're recognizing that, oh, I see you in Washington, and the view here shows your commitment, shows you're really interested in these topics. And so I think that's another way that we've done talks to be really worthwhile is to meet a lot of that delegation outside the United States and kind of spend their year when we're all hearing about what's happening here in the real crisis that we're facing.
It's a very good question. I think that I'll start with COP. Communication and COP for me starts with listening. Listening and learning. We've got a lot to learn, and being here provides a wonderful opportunity to do that. And then secondly, it's about communicating that this opportunity exists with plant-based products. It has tremendous potential. The truth is, plant-based products have operated in the shadow of the bigger elements of the bioeconomy. Pharmaceutical. That's understandable.
Yeah, he represented the minister the other show. I don't know, was it for or here? I don't know.
It shouldn't be mainly every reasonable opportunity.
That's something with a P. I saw his name tag there. Follow.
And then finally, I'd like to say that in communication at stateside, it has we have focused on building coalitions. I'm really proud of the fact that we have this year for an agriculture bioeconomy coalition. And so groups like the American Soybean Association, National Corn Growers, Farm Bureau, a bunch of other groups, National Association of State Departments of Agriculture, so all the state agriculture commissions came together and said, we need to advance this. And so we're working together to define policy objectives that build the bioeconomy and support the development of plant-based products.
Thank you so much, Pamela. I agree. We have both in our RS research, we have different avenues, right? So as a company, we think about the next 3 to 5 years, but RS research is thinking about the next horizon. And within each of the industries that we serve, we have 8, platforms for which we have customer councils. So I 100% agree. It's about listening to what our customers want, what our customers see happening, and then working together to try and figure out what those solutions might be. But specific to the question, so with that, I also wanted to say the first gentleman who spoke, I think this is here.
Yes.
So he was speaking about not having costs and that we shouldn't have that cost. But I think while we all need to work, we need to accelerate our work, there is something extraordinarily important about bringing people together on a topic and holding people accountable. And for me, COP is an incredible opportunity to hold people accountable, to set goals, to have strategies that have outcomes that are assigned. And I feel that that's an incredible opportunity at COP and why I understand where he's coming from, but where I would pivot, I think, on his argument. From a technology standpoint, of course, as Harry was saying about simulating and designing and knowing what's going to happen, this technology is giving that data, the insights, the machine learning, the ability to simulate whatever it is that you're making in advance of making it, and being able to have that assessment of what is the carbon footprint of a project, whether it's going to be an embodied carbon. I think a lot of people have been talking about embodied carbon and operational carbon here. We need to have tools like, there's something called EC3, which is the embodied carbon construction carbon calculator. I might have inverted the order of those C's. But it makes it possible really to assess the carbon offsets of the building. It goes on the embodied carbon point of view, and then also operational carbon. We make our own tools called Insight, and you can really see what is the outcome of what it is that you're creating. So for us, it's really being able to build real-time machine learning assisted insights to understand the trade-offs that you're making. because it has to be as easy to make decisions that will be less carbon intensive than it is to make the decision that you've just made because that's what you make, right? You need to understand what is the mix of cement that you're using, and maybe there's a better mix. But if I have to look it up and where's that mix, I might not do that. But if it's built into the software and you see it immediately and you know that there's somebody near you within 5 miles who's making a cement mix that's better, or maybe has a little bit not quite as good as the one that's 5,000 miles away, and you can see that in your software while you're making it, you say, well, okay, well, I'm going to go with the concrete mix that's going to be 5 miles away because I understand the whole product life cycle of getting to 5,000 miles away. So really having those insights, the automation will make the decisions easier. So that's what I would say. Why do we use technology?
Yes, we communicate obviously like all of us here in different ways. So for one part we have let's say a corporate program called Vitalize Better World. We launched that at the time of the COP in Paris. This is also when we made a carbon neutral commitment to be carbon neutral in 5 years. So that was actually the main part of that 5-year program. We became carbon neutral in 2020. We're now in the second 5-year cycle, and it contains a lot of doubling commitments. So you will recognize the relevance of that. So doubling further carbon reduction by the customers, doubling on circular revenues, but also doubling on diversity, women in leadership position, doubling on waste reduction, and actually includes a zero waste target that we'll accomplish this year. And then we have messaging to our customers. So we launched a program called Green Switch, based on the European Green Deal, on the recovery programs. We call it worldwide, being rolled out worldwide, called it Green Switch. In the US, for political reasons, we call it Bright in America, but then also based on the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, and also on the Inflation Reduction Act, to see indeed and to support arguments and priority setting for solutions that bring impact and contribute short term. So energy efficiency in our case, also tracking funding flows, and also very much focused on municipalities. So let's say the second level of public governments, because that's where the action is. But also on B2B, looking at more and more companies that have made similar commitments, and also B2C, how can we support households that are increasingly confronted with high energy costs. We see there's some programs that are, some governments around the world are financing with cash. In the same way as they're financing fossil fuels for years, financing in cash energy bills. Well, it doesn't take the problem away. That means actually you have to pay twice or 3 times before something happens. And of course, some of that is really urgent, we understand, also in this winter, that is ahead of us. But then we would like to see that also more investment in structural solutions. So we just calculated a bit, if you provide a household with 5 LED lights instead of giving $50 or €50, in 5 years' time they would have $250 or euro benefits. So that kind of solutions. But the essence is a forward program that we also share with investors, with the media, and then let's say a tailored program towards customers of different character. And then also focusing, of course, on what is most relevant in office lighting, street lighting, in retail and so forth.
I can see if Lyle wants to add anything on communication.
Yeah, this is such a good question. It is a good question because, unfortunately, for most of the private enterprises, the reporting on climate action is not a priority. So we are working on that every day. How can we turn this reporting of climate action into a priority? So we use all the platforms that we have available amongst our business coalitions. So that's why we use Fundación Popular, digital platform, EcoRed, UNDP, the Connect, and also the Ministry of Environment and the National Council platform to communicate the importance of reporting, because nowadays it's not really a priority. So we are trying to transform this reality into a priority. That's why we are working on sharing good practices and how can this action turn into a good business for the enterprises. So there is a lot to do here still at the Dominican Republic. We use all channels that we have available all the time.
Thank you very much. Harry, I'd like to go to you for a moment. You've talked a few times about energy efficiency, and so has Emily. But, talk to us a little bit about the impact that energy efficiency can have. And obviously, we're experiencing the climate crisis. We also have an energy crisis, both geopolitical, due to the war in Ukraine and its impact. And, we were still dealing with price disruptions in the energy markets because of COVID. So there's a lot going on, and I'd just love to hear your thoughts from an energy efficiency perspective.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. I think so. What is relevant on energy efficiency is that, as for any transition, you also need to look not only what is being put on the market in a certain year, how many EVs does a company sell, or how many LED lights in our case. For any sector, we should look at how fast is the installed base converting. If you then look at energy efficiency from our angle, we see from IEA and IPCC reports, and I think you know, that energy efficiency has to do between 40 and 50% of the job, keeping, let's say, reducing carbon emissions towards zero. But then, if you look at lighting, so I mentioned we are 85% of our sales are LED, but still in Europe and in the US, 50% of all light points are conventional, so bulbs and tubes and the like. This means, if you turn it around, so that there's a huge potential. So if Europe would switch that lighting, you save 65 billion euro. That's based on 33 cents per kilowatt hour. I'm already paying 58 at home. We got a price increase 2 weeks ago. And 51 million tons of carbon. For the US, it's 77 million tons of carbon, so even a bit more than in Europe. And 31 billion US dollars, because 17 cents on the dollar per kilowatt hour, so like half a euro. But also, and I think that's what Lisa is referring to, we see that we need to speed up the electrification of heating and transport. And on average, so global average, it differs a little bit per country, but the global average electricity consumption per household is 3,400 kilowatt hours. The average of what an electric vehicle needs for 10,000 miles per year, which is used as an annual average, is 3,400 kilowatt hours. The average of what an electric heat pump needs is more or less the same. So if we're adding electric vehicles, if we're adding heat pumps, in essence we'll be tripling household electricity consumption on a global scale. So this means we need to free up electricity by reducing demand in other areas. So for lighting, this would mean, if you just convert this half of the installed base that is still conventional, that in Europe you free up capacity to power 47 million heat pumps. So that's 47 million households. Or let's say the amount of electricity to charge 55 million electric vehicles per year. And it's comparable in the US. Of course, it will depend a little bit on the average driving range that might be higher in the US than in Europe. But those are big numbers. So that means there's an additional relevance to energy efficiency in reducing cost on the bill and reducing carbon emissions as before, but then also in helping the electrification of heating and transport. Because in many places the grid is at capacity. I lived in Brazil. I experienced that in different ways with blackouts. But also where I live in the southern Netherlands, the grid is at capacity. So you're tripling household demand with EV and heat pump equivalents. No way that can happen on time without helping hands from energy efficiency.
Thanks. John, I wanted to ask you a question. It's a little off script, but hopefully you'll indulge me. You're here representing the agricultural industry. Just wondering what you're finding in the hall of those coalitions, because the Business Council and the Alliance to Save Energy are very energy focused. I'm just curious, I see more participation from the agriculture sector at this COP, but I'm wondering what kind of conversations you're having and what you see about the conversation on agricultural solutions at the COP and in the climate conversation.
Sure, Lisa, thank you. I think it was 7 years ago that, with your help and guidance, the former refiners became the first U.S. agricultural association to have status at COP. And now I see a number of other organizations here and are talking about it. Secretary Bill Sack has been a strong leader, and we're very fortunate to have this leadership. I am also mindful of the comment that I heard made by one of the U.S. negotiators that sort of at the top, and there's greater metropolitan. All the discussions are happening around the negotiations. And I think there is a maturation in the discussions in greater metropolitan top, because there's recognition that you can't operate with just fantasies of what we would like to have happen. It needs to be real world, it needs to be sustainable. We've got 8 billion people in the world to feed, and we can do that. We have the agricultural production to do it. And we need to find ways, I think agricultural technology is the answer, to get smarter and smarter so we have sustainable participation. I think we more sustainably produce more. And that is the growing focus. I'm really excited that as I look at the agriculture community in the U.S., there is growing recognition of the importance of this and engagement, and there is very real commitment to sustainability. Most of the agriculture associations in Washington now have sustainability officers. That was not the case just a few years ago.
Oh, that's really remarkable and very good to hear. We're kind of getting to the final set of questions for the panel, and I wanted to talk a little bit about partnerships. The Business Council for Sustainable Energy, the Alliance to Save Energy, the Plant-Based Products Council, obviously our other co-host, Fundación Popular. We're all coalitions and work with a lot of partners. So I just would love to hear from anyone who'd like to share, what is a successful partnership and how can this process help you build better partnerships? This is my title.
Okay. So when I think about partnerships and a partnership is fundamentally going to make things more complicated, potentially. But a partnership is also has the ability to transform and accelerate whatever it is that you're doing. So a successful partnership is one in which you find, whether it's a membership organization like BCSE, we're members of the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, it's a way to engage with, hopefully not all like-minded, because I think if we all talk amongst ourselves, we're not going to get very far, but with other industry leaders who are interested in engaging in the conversation and want to push things forward. Because I think at this point in our history and where we stand, climate crisis, the only way we're going to stay below 1.5 is if we have radical collaboration and we measure ourselves against that radical collaboration. What can we achieve together and how can we get there?
Y ahorita cuando sea yo.
I think it'll work.
Well,
hear from you.
Okay. Well, from our point of view, we have a strong alliance in the Dominican Republic with very positive points. So I might say that the most important things are the partnership that should have determination and assume diversity in the opinion of responsibility. Having also a strong sense of ownership, if all the members of the alliance don't feel the ownership of the project, won't happen anything. One important thing that we have looked forward is to have an agreement based on responsibility, joint rights, and signed by all relevant partners. Also, the commitment from other partners is very important. Hosting a weekly meeting and participating in this meeting, represented by experienced person who have influence within their organization. For example, we have to say also good communication between actors, regular attendance of meetings. We have to be, we have to keep going all the time. Three more things that are positive from our part. One, having a yearly working plan based on an agreed strategy. This plan should have a set of objectives and goal clearly. And finally, but no less important, having a reporting system of execution of this plan.
Thank you for that. Very helpful. Go ahead, John, and then Harry.
I just like to quickly note that I appreciate the points that were raised and the last point. To me, what we see all the time is if there is alignment in objectives, then that collaboration brings cognitive diversity, so we learn from one another, and it broadens our reach. And that's what makes those efforts worth the additional trouble that it is to have.
Thank you. Harry?
Maybe a few remarks. A partnership should not be a convenience store in which, let's say, progress is slowed down. That slows down change by arguing that yesterday was better, etc., etc. It should be indeed a partnership that develops a joint vision of the future, that has a roadmap, let's say, shared goals and milestones. And I think, of course, the biggest milestone of any partnership that we work in is carbon neutral, but also shorter term, what are the 2030 goals? What do we want to accomplish here? And what do we want to accomplish in the coming years? So I think it's also important to realize we see some partnerships or some associations, particularly when it's education associations, and we see some examples in Europe, where then also sometimes anecdotally in Brussels have people say, yeah, they move as slow as member. So actually we should prevent that because it is in nobody's interest. And I think we all know the things like win-win and lose-lose, but I think in the middle is this risk of people going to win-lose, and in the end that turns into lose-lose. I think we see that today in politics. If somebody argues, then I can make you better at the expense of somebody else, in the end they both lose. So let's remember that there's only one option, and that is to go to partnership with a clear goal, which is ambitious, changes progress. I think particularly in developed countries, sorry for the lengthy answer, but I think particularly in developed countries, we should remember that our grandparents and great-grandparents had very little. For them, any change was progress, aspirational was what they embraced. And we've become used to prosperity, and we think we should defend that by slowing things down. If you look at developing countries, I think you recognize they're almost shouting and crying out for help to help them progress. Because that's the only way, of course, to stay out of more trouble, but actually for them also to create a better future.
I really appreciate everybody's candid responses with that. It's true. We have to critically assess what we're doing with our time and make sure that we really are pushing ourselves and focusing our energy on things that are going to drive change for our aligned objectives, as you said. Last question for each of you, and Elias, we'll start with you. What's your kind of vision for the next several years? What would be success? If we were to have a conversation, we were at an event with the Australian delegation last night, and they put their bid in. If they were to win at COP21, several years, what would be success?
Well, thank you, Lisa. Well, I think that the really success of any given alliance have to be with the commitment they have, in this process. That should not be one day commitment. This commitment has to be ongoing, continuous, day by day. We cannot stop struggling and trying to change the same in 1 week or 2 weeks. Have to be something that we have to do on everyday basis in order to make it work. That's the best thing I can tell you. We have to keep going all the time, and not only going with words, we have to go with actions as well.
Thank you. Harry, let's start there.
I'd like to end with thoughts. Let's say with a hope. I would like to see that it has taken us 30 years since 1992 to get where we are today. We still have, let's say, rounded off 30 years till 2050. I would hope that our political leaders will spend less time on agreeing what to do and more time on doing what was agreed. We only have 30 years for that, And that will be my biggest hope.
Exactly. I mean, my hope is that with something like that the idea of implementation is integrated into the way that we all behave. So I think somebody told me they saw a really funny cartoon the other day. It said like, "Who wants change?" And everybody raised their hand and said, "Who wants to change?" And and so, even when you talk about partnerships, there's level of partnerships. There's peer-to-peer partnerships. You were talking about B2B partnerships, there's B2C partnerships, there's public-private partnerships, right? So the only way to achieve a carbon-neutral future is through and I agree that they must have outcomes and they must have shared goals, but we also have multi-level, multi-collaboration. It's not just one of us, no matter what any of our companies do, is going to come to the solution. So it's going to take multiple components, multiple intersections, and most of the technology is there to get it done, right? So, to quote the 1940s, just do it.
Right.
I really appreciate the previous comments. I'd like to answer this in a different way, a little more specific to plant-based products. What I hope to see is a recognition of the promise of these products to advance our climate change and other environmental objectives, and to see simple policies adopted, such as nomenclature that is nationally uniform, to give structure so that industry and consumers say the terms are used in a uniform way and avoid greenwashing and misunderstanding. Continuation of research, not just the basic research, but also just economic research about the impact of this industry. I referenced some of it earlier, but there's darn little of it available, and that can well beyond the policy discussions. I think procurement of government programs can help because reaching scale on these products, because they are countless, can be a challenge. But it's not that we think there ought to be set-asides. Goals would be nice, but at least measure, just measure in government procurement. My experience in management is if you're not measuring it, you're just having fun. And then finally, start a good, responsible discussion about incentives. This is an industry that's taking on a legacy industry, and that has enjoyed decades of incentive to the tone, and we feel that there are very compelling environmental reasons why incentive for this industry should be considered. And it would make sense in a market, consumer-driven process.
Thank you.
So I think, from my perspective, working for a private company, or a small company, but private sector, is, for business to continue to step up. This is only my second talk, but my understanding is that last year's talk was kind of the first time, or perhaps the most memorable time when companies really stepped up. And I think when we see Secretary Kerry and others talking about how important the private sector is and the funding from the private sector is to move the ball forward for developing countries, but also for their own countries, I think my hope is that, 5, 10, 15 years on from now, we see even more private sector engagement. And implementation, right? This is the implementation of profit and cost, but I think that's where private sector needs to step up even more, right? Financially, but also in getting the job done. Just do it already, right? You can just be doing it already. And so I think that's my hope, is that we continue to see more private sector involvement across the spectrum.
Well, go ahead, Rama.
Oh, no, as you said that, John, the woman who is in charge of building transparency said, just yesterday I heard her speak, and she said, you can only reduce what you can measure, but you can only measure what you can understand.
Yes.
And I thought it was it's exactly what you spoke to, and what that micro is. If we don't even know what the data is, and we have no capacity to analyze the data, then we cannot then start measuring it, and then we cannot take action on it.
Before we close, is there anything that wasn't said that was on your mind that you wanted to say? If not, but I'm welcoming. You don't have to. Go ahead.
I just wanted to thank you again for organizing and say how flattered I am to be part of this thoughtful panel.
Hey, I would like to say also from the Dominican Republic, so proud to be here with you guys. It's our way to be part of this important meeting, COP27. So cheers from the Dominican Republic, and good luck in the rest of the meeting today.
Thank you, Dr. I'm going to 1 minute. Yeah. So I will close on behalf of the sponsors of this event, Fundación Popular. Thank you so much for joining us. The Alliance to Save Energy, the Plant-Based Products Council, and the Business Council for Sustainable Energy. Really appreciate your time and look forward to other opportunities to continue this conversation. Have a great day. Good job, everybody.
Great.
Right, I'm going to run to the airport. Okay. Oh, sure.
You can't choose.
Conversation. Oh, good idea. Yeah. Except that our technology.
Watch the gap there. Of course you do.
Help our customers.
You stand on the edge of the platform. No, wherever you are, at least. Leave the stage. Okay.
People in front, people in front.
You're good.
Yeah. Oh, front shoes.
I was like, oh, there's
I know.